Hello everybody, it's the Law Gnome and welcome back to another DCU update over here on my channel. If you are new, let me just say welcome, it's a pleasure to have you. And for all of you returning, I'm hoping that you're excited to officially wrap up another year of DCU updates with me over here on my channel. I mean, I don't really know what the future is going to hold for this little segment over here because it seems as though the production of DC original films and DC animated universe films are not really going to be as prominent as they have in the last couple of years, and that's pretty much because of the fact that James Gunn is now in charge of the DCU. And no, unfortunately, you will not be getting a review of Creature Commandos over here on my channel. You'll have to go to my other channel, That's Comical, because that is actually technically part of a brand new DC universe, much like the MCU. But there will still be a review of the new Harley Quinn season, which is great. I'm also trying to get through another show or two that is linked to DC animation, and I'm looking forward to talking about them with you over here. But for now, through all of that, I'm sort of trying to get this video to be a little bit more lengthy because today we're going to be reviewing the latest animated original film, and that is the follow-up to Watchmen Chapter 1, and of course that is Watchmen Chapter 2. And there's honestly really nothing for me to say in regards to this film, because I think all of the major stuff that needed to be said was said when I reviewed Chapter 1, and I really think what I should have done was waited for Chapter 2 to come out and review the two of them as one connected film, because that's pretty much what this is. This is the second half of the 12-issue maxi series that came out in 1986 over at DC Comics by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. Once again, I appreciate the fact that Dave Gibbons was part of the creative process to bringing this brand new version of the story to a different kind of medium. And yes, again, not really too much to say, but I will say one of the few things that I'm sure most fans are going to be very impressed and happy about is the fact that this animated version of the story, unlike the Zack Snyder film from 2009, stuck to the guns of the original source material and didn't get a different ending. It had the same outcome as the newer ending from 2009, but this one actually stuck to the original comic book. So, again, the animation is unique, the acting is fine, and the story is the story. There's really nothing much that has been changed. But there are two things now that I'm really going to nitpick about this, and the first one is the fact that they stuck to the original ending, and it's just because of the fact that it didn't seem so epic and it didn't seem so significant as it did in the comic book or as it did in the 2009 original film. I mean, yes, you know what happens if you've read the story. It's the big one-eyed monster, which is a massive sexual innuendo. Everybody knows that. And it really doesn't do much. It just sits there and does nothing while people are screaming in the streets. And apparently it's causing death and destruction without even moving a muscle. I'm pretty sure that it was a little bit more dynamic in the source material. And then the other thing that was done a little bit more prominently than was in Chapter 1 was the weaving in of Tales of the Black Freighter, which is the comic book that's being read within the main story. It's the story within a story. And I gotta say that I thought that it was done a little bit more on the sloppier side. And if you watch the Watchmen Ultimate Cut from Zack Snyder, in which the 30-minute short film that was released separately from the live-action film is weaved into the live-action film with the voice of Gerard Butler as the main character, I think the original film from 2009 did a much better job bringing Tales of the Black Freighter into the main story. And I guess one of the few things that I will say is, you want to complete the story and you enjoyed Chapter 1, watch Chapter 2, I don't think you're going to be disappointed because, again, it's very, very hard to touch Watchmen and bring it into another kind of media and not really do too much to change it. I think Zack Snyder was the only one that really made a bold statement and said, this idea for an ending just seems better than the original ending. And I personally agree, and I'm going to see if anybody else agrees with me because I want to make an announcement. If you're watching us over at That's Comical, and if you're not, there will be a link to the channel below. You really should check that channel out if you want to see more comic book and manga and anime, and of course, film stuff that is comic book and manga related. I think you'll really have a good time there. We've been having an amazing time this year, especially celebrating the 85th anniversary of Batman and the 40th anniversary of Teenage Mutant Ninja. If you haven't checked out my second channel, That's Comical, I really suggest that you go there, and there will be a link provided in the box below. Me and my colleagues over on the channel, because it's numerous people working on there, we had a very good year this year, especially because we celebrated the 85th anniversary of Batman and the 40th anniversary of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But also, that's where the DC Animated Live show has been for the last few years. And Cammie and I have really enjoyed reviewing the latest DC animated films. And we're going to be doing some really good things next year. One of them is we're going to actually revisit the New 52 storyline from DC Animation that started from the Flashpoint Paradox to Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. But we're also going to kick off the year with a very special DC Animated Live show, because it's going to be a Who Wore It Best. If you don't know what that is, check out the channel. You'll see a couple of videos that pertain to that title. And we're going to take a look at this brand new animated film. Chapters 1 and 2 is one whole film, and we're going to compare it to the Zack Snyder Ultimate Cut of the 2009 live-action version of Watchmen. I love the live-action film. I personally think it is the greatest comic book film that has ever been made, because of the fact that I believe that it truly does pay tribute to Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, even though there was a few minor changes in regards to how the characters looked, as well as the ending. But I personally feel that it was appropriately changed because it just made more sense. And there are some people that agree with me, and there are some people that don't. But the fact that we're going to take a look at these two versions of this story, and actually put the graphic novel aside, I think this is going to be something unique and different, because everybody likes to talk about the graphic novel, and everybody likes to compare it to the film or the motion comic that came out, as well as this brand new animated version. Or maybe even rope the one-season HBO TV show into the mix. But I feel that taking a look at the live-action film and the animated film is going to really change the game, and I think we're going to have a great discussion. So look for that in the first quarter of 2025. But in the meantime, I want to thank you all for another great year of DC Universe animation discussion. And please leave your comments in the box below if you've seen the animated version of Watchmen and if you enjoyed it. And please enjoy your holidays and have a very healthy and safe 2025. Until then, I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, feel free to leave a comment. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to be up to date with our latest videos. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next one. Actions speak louder than words.